His thrower is pretty interesting because I personally I like accurate, but strong arm is also really good just because um, adding the one, you know, is still a better chance. Uh, I've never really played with strong arm, so I'm actually the next person that levels is sort of going to start placing him as my ball handler. Because I don't have sure hands on my characters, so I might get it on a ghoul or a wide thrower. I'm not sure. But anyway, back to his team. His thrower is pretty well set up, and his catchers are also pretty well set up. So block, and then this one has block as well. Um, guard, guard on ogre, dodge, mighty blow. Blitzers are pretty good. Both having guard and mighty blows gotta make it kind of interesting because they just support each other and run into the cages, and then they could just wreck your cage open, and even worse, cause real pain. I'm really interested to see how this game goes on because Nug he's playing elves, so he's not like I mean he's still base value 3s. But his lineup is so well made. Like, he has one guy to kick. That's all you really need. It's basic dude, whatever. And then he has, 8 movement catcher with wrestle, which is where you want them to be. Like, the reason why wrestle is so good on like teams like Skaven is because you don't care about getting knocked down. You just get back up, and then you still move halfway across the field to whoever the next guy you need to go after is. And then wrestle again, alignment. Strong arm and accurate, really developed thrower. And then his blisters have dodge guard and dodge diving tackle. And then his catchers are just insane. Level 4 catchers. Dodge block sidestep. Dodge block strip ball. He has such a great blitz setup. I'm sorry, not blitzing. Like, the way his team works is he's so good at keeping the ball in position and then also breaking the cages. There was a reason why he's 7-1-0. Like, the team is so well set up. And yes, he only has 3 rerolls, but he has 360k gold. Like, he can get rerolls if he wants. But the thing I'm worried about is, like, if he gets to the finals, he's going to dump all his gold into inducements, and then he's going to just wreck. Like, imagine all these with a pro player, or all these with extra rerolls and then more booze. Like, I think everyone agrees with me that he is probably one of the favorites just because his team is pretty well stacked. So we'll see how this goes. They tied last time, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. Obviously, I want Sebidai to win because I don't want to play Nug personally, and Sebidai hopefully can destroy Nug if his players if Nug wins, just so it's a little easier on everyone else. I don't really know if that's going to actually happen, but you gotta kind of wish for that. So going to the next matchup, we have Sadfish versus Figure 4, and that's another rematch from last game of the regular season. Sadfish plays Lizardman, and 3 rerolls with 80k gold. He actually lost a skink, which is why he has 0 SP, and he has less gold. I played him. I think he was my second to last match of the regular season, and he plays the team pretty well. He has really good stuff across the board. Like, he has block, but on the sources. But that's pretty much all you need on them because they're 4 strength, 6 movement. That's really solid. You don't really expect them to go around and tossing the ball. That's why you have the skinks, which are just they're really just tricky Skaven. Like 8 movements. I mean, they're not gonna try and tackle you, although he has tried a couple times. And that ended up poorly, as I think. I don't see the guy. I think I injured one of them before, but anyway. But yeah, he has a really good setup, I think. Let's see. The thing I like about his team as well is that he has diving tackle on his skinks, which makes them important when he's just doing defense. Because normally, like, if you're not gonna really go in with your skinks, but you can use them for positioning because of diving tackle. So as long as the sources are kind of pushing the other team away, you can use the skinks to try and force the ball into positions you don't want. There's something really else to kind of talk about. Like, his level 3s are pretty solid as well. Unfortunately, he has a fractured skull, but you know, that kind of happens. But break, tackle, dodge is pretty good. And this one has one agility sidestep, which is, you know, and then for the character that it is, it's what you kind of want. I think the problem here is that he's gonna have problems with as much dodge as he has, because most of the teams now have 2 people with tackle. So it's gonna be interesting to see how his gameplay changes. And figure 4 is orcs. 3 rerolls and almost 300k gold. He still needs to level up these guys, which I think is going to be sort of important what they pick up. Luckily though, 1 black orc is down, so that's something at least. Blitzers are both dodge guards. Black orcs are kind of like, you know, +1 strength. So I mean, I was thinking about this, and I'm not sure. Like, strength is always good. I'm not sure if I really would have done it as a first skill, just because I'm worried. Like, black orcs are ridiculous in themselves, but I feel as though they need some way of securing themselves. But whatever. I mean, that's a preference thing. Like, strength is always good. Is like ridiculously good in Blood Bowl. So no matter what, you're generally gonna go for +1 strength, unless it's like on a skink. But you know, whatever. This troll has guard. Then there's dodge guard, and then mighty blow block. This guy is kind of scary because he's gonna probably just mow into everybody. Thor has block and there's a steal. And his goblin has sidestep, which he also needs to level. Why is it? He's missing here. But yeah, this game's gonna be interesting because, I mean, they just played each other, so they know how each other plays to a pretty good extent. Having 1 black orc out is... okay, so Figure 4 says that he would have picked block first, but he can't pick up rolling 1 strength. Which, like, yeah, again, I agree. But I mean, that's just for me. Like, for me, that's a flavor thing. Because I think black orcs are pretty important to this team just because you need to have that front line. And they're a really strong front line, so having block, like, is a way that you don't get bullied. Like, I think, like, for me, having these guys on the front line is powerful, but, like, if you just put 1 big guy and some other guys in it, you kind of negate that. Because most of the big guys don't have block, but I don't know. Then you're like going for a 4 strength versus a 5 strength, and you're kind of losing a die, and it goes back and forth. Like, I don't think it's, like I said, I don't think it's a poor decision or anything like that. I just think it's more of a personal taste. And that, yeah, like I have a really hard time going for stats as a first gain on a character, just because I think skills are really important. But it's very much based on the team. Like on my Skaven team, I chose as my first skill on a gutter runner, I picked the movement, because being able to turn one, I'm pretty sure that's enough for turn 1. But being close to like a turn 1, a 1-turn touchdown is pretty powerful. So yeah, like I said, it's more of a personal choice. So overall, I think this matchup is going to be really interesting. Like, again, because they just played each other, so they kind of remember how this matchup is going to play. They're both really they're both set up for good playoffs. I just again worry about Sadfish just because a lot of dodge against a lot of people who already have tackle. So it's going to be interesting to see how he defends his skinks. I mean, well, they have stunties, so it's not really that bad, but we'll see. And then the last two is Gambit with his Chaos team. Like it's really your normal Chaos team. Like, you know, they all have block because once Chaos starts ramping up with block and their second skill afterwards, then you start getting scared. You know, when the mutations start coming out, you're like, crap. He has a large bank, 320, which is going to really help him out. I assume if he goes up against Knug, you're going to see a lot of that being spent. But yeah, his team is just like your normal Chaos, you know. I'm going to come after you and I'm going to destroy you. Block Mighty Blow, pass extra arms. As with all Chaos teams, the major problem is like who's going to... even though he has like pass and extra arms, who's he really going to throw the ball to? So you're going to see a lot of caging with this team, and then trying to see how he moves the ball. And then his brother Vax. So I've never played as or against Underworld, so I really don't know what to think of this team. Which is going to be really sucky for me because I've played against every other team, every single race aside from this. That's in the playoffs, anyways. But it's a weird mixture, like, you know, Skaven and Goblins, and then like they're stunty, and then they have their own little things. So let's see, like. I mean, he has a troll, 5 with claw, so it's worth noting. And then there's this guard, kick, block, leader. Goblin's out with 2 heads. Then he has another goblin with 2 heads. And then Mighty Blow and claw. I don't really know how the team has been playing. I probably should go take a look at a replay or something just so I can understand how this team works. He doesn't have much gold, and again, 3 rerolls. But he has the lowest TV out of everybody by at least, I think, 170. So he's going to get a pretty much decent amount of change from inducements. But I don't see it playing as much of a role as much for the other teams. But Vaccine's a pretty strong player, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be causing a lot of pain or misery. I don't really know how this matchup's going to go, just because Underworld is just so foreign to me that it's hard for me to make that kind of call. So going through who I think is going to place or get into the next round, I don't feel as though there's any definites. Like, this is a really solid 8 out of our divisions. Like I said, I think this matchup is going to be based off who starts eliminating which players on the other side. If I can get his frenzy characters out, or his pilot on out, for at least a half, and then try and punish his team, I think I'm putting myself in a good position. If he gets my ghouls, or just my guard characters in general, he's gonna be really set for the rest of the round, or the rest of that match. Seb and Nug, I just don't know. Like, Nug has such a strong team. I want to obviously say him, but I think Sebitai, like, if you're the only team that can make him tie, I think you are doing something right with this matchup. And why aren't you rolling? Come on, servers. Servers. And then Sadfish and Figure 4. I'm not sure who to pick from there. 2 good players, 2 good teams. Could go either way. Really? You You're gonna just derp on me like this? Sigh.